So welcome, first of all. My name is Megan, if we haven't really been introduced yet. We are here today to talk about how you can land your next client using cold emailing. I have a background in writing and now have an agency, and this is what I do for a living. I work from home. Cold emailing is something I have mastered over the years, so I wanted to come on here and share the process with you because I know it can be really challenging. So let's get right in. I have divided this talk up into three main sections to keep it as clear as possible. Step one is going to cover sourcing and qualifying your leads, okay? We're going to talk about identifying your main sources of lead generation and how to determine if a lead is a good fit to cold email. In step two, we're going to talk about sending your cold emails. So making that initial touch point to your leads, and if necessary, following up. And in step three, we're going to talk about closing the deal. Hey, Bright. And getting on the phone with the lead and landing the client. If you don't know what any of this means yet, it's okay. We're going to go through all of it throughout this call, if my slides decide to work. It's always got to be something, right? Okay, so this call, it'll go roughly 30-35 minutes. There's going to be a ton of value, so I encourage you, put social media away, put your phone on silent, anything that might distract you, tuck it away for now. This webinar is going to build on itself, so if you miss something at the beginning, something in the end might not make sense, all right? We're here because there are two main ways of doing business. With the old way, you are running from client to client, job to job, chasing money, chasing income. Your income is consistent, it's unreliable, and you feel like you are caught in this hamster wheel. I've been there. I know a lot of other people who have been there. Give me a yes in the chat box if you know what I'm talking about. Heck yeah, I hear you, Tyler. All right, let's keep going. That's the old way of doing business. It's the hamster wheel. Yep, Natali, you too. The new way, however, is providing us with a proven system for landing clients so that you can have a stable and predictable stream of revenue, stream of income, and enjoy the freedom we all want when we start our businesses. That's why we build our businesses. We did the 9-to-5, either it didn't work or we don't like it. So we're taking control back and using a proven system to build our own business. That is the new way. So I want you to stick around if you are a client-based professional or an aspiring client-based professional, trying to make a greater impact while also achieving consistent income. This is about building stability. So whether you're a freelancer, a consultant, a coach, I know we've got like a health, nutrition, fitness coach on the call, that's great. If you're an agency owner or a digital nomad, or if you're trying to be any of these things, you will learn something on this call. Stick around if you know that you provide an amazing service. You know you're good at what you do, but you're having a hard time getting your potential clients to see that. You want to work smarter, not harder, and build a business that really has your back for the long term. You are results driven and genuinely love helping people. And conversely, you should leave now if you are an information junkie only, but don't take action. This webinar isn't for you if you're not serious about getting more clients and making more money. You think you've learned everything you need to know about cold emailing and I couldn't possibly teach you anything. Oh, Taylor's in the waiting room. Okay, give me participants. Thank you for pointing that out to me. Thank you, Tyler. Welcome everyone just joining. I'm sorry it took me a minute to let you into the room, my fault. Okay, thank you again. All right, so if you think you know everything you need to know about cold emailing, I don't think you're gonna have the right mentality for this webinar, so you're not gonna learn much. You think that cold emailing works for everyone else, but it can't work for you because you're different. We're gonna talk about this later. And if you get frustrated when someone gives you 45 minutes of strategy that has helped me generate 5 figures a month in revenue, and then I make you an offer for an exclusive opportunity at the end to work with me, fair warning, if that's not for you, then you can exit now, no hard feelings. I wanna make sure that you wanna be here and you're ready. Okay, let's keep going. Also, I mentioned this a minute ago, there will be a Q&A at the end. Just for anyone who maybe joined after I mentioned this, write down your questions and save them for the end, because we're going to be talking back and forth in the group chat throughout this process, and I don't want your questions to get buried. So at the end, when I say, it's time for Q&A, go ahead and put them in the chat then. One more time, because I'm still learning, can you guys just give me a yes in the chat box if you can see and see my screen and hear me? Yes, yes, thank you. All right, and thanks again for bearing with me. Thank you, Mitali. Cool. All right, so before we dive into tactics, I want you guys to know that I'm not just blowing smoke up your behind. So here's a little information on me, on why I am qualified and ready to teach you this. Thank you, Bright. So I started as a freelance writer back in 2009, and it was a very modest side gig because I don't know about you, but I was taught that the right way to do things was to get a degree, get a desk job. That was the right way of doing things. So I did. I was miserable, bored, exhausted. I was not in control of my paycheck. My employers were. And I was laid off 4 times in 5 years. I could not hang on to a job to save my life. And I eventually said, enough, I'm done. So I left the 9-to-5 life completely, and I went full-time with freelancing. And things did get better. I was doing something that I loved and I was passionate about, and I was getting paid for it, which just blew my mind. It still blows my mind. I had control over my hours, and I was working from home, which I love. I love being home. I was traveling. This is a picture of me in Paris at the Eiffel Tower. I was competing as an Olympic weightlifter. That's the bottom picture. Super passionate about it. And life was supposed to be great, and it was, but I was completely exhausted. I mean, like physically drained. I was overworked, and yet I was still making way less money than I wanted, which seemed so backwards to me. I had hit a ceiling, and I couldn't take on more clients, and yet I only had a few, but they sucked up all of my time. There was nowhere to go. I was burnt out from trying to build a business that was supposed to give me freedom, and yet it was anything but. If you can relate to this, give me a yes in the chat, because I don't think I'm the only one. Cool, we'll keep going. Yep, I hear you, Tyler. Yes, yep. I know, it's really tricky. And the worst part for me, and I'm sure for you, you feel stuck. Yes, hi Miriam, so glad you're here. To make a fundamental change to your business like what I needed to do, I knew I needed time to work on it. But to get time, I have to let a client go and to clear some time in my schedule. But doing that meant losing money, and I couldn't afford that. I wasn't in a position to lose my money. And it was around this time when I discovered cold emailing, and what you will hear me refer to in this call as the cold emailing formula. Hi, Elena. All right, so within days, I mean literal days, of changing my mindset, my approach, and my strategy, I was landing new clients that I was charging thousands of dollars a month, not hundreds. And if you are a writer, and I know other fields, you know we have a horrible habit of undercharging. Clients who were underpaying me, I either raised my rates with them or we parted ways. It was time to move on. My leads, when I say they're pouring in, this is no exaggeration. They were coming in left and right, and my conversion rate was through the roof. It was higher than it had ever been. And the better I got at cold emailing, the fewer emails I had to send and the more clients I closed. I know it sounds backwards, like I'm, yanking your chain a little bit, because everyone says cold emailing is a numbers game. We're going to talk about this more later. I was doing less work and making more money. And eventually I had more work that I could handle. So my choice, not everyone wants to do this, but I hired a very small but mighty team so that my business could keep growing. Now I've got an agency that generates 5 figures a month in revenue, and there is no limit to what I can do. I can make my business as big as I want because now I know how to land clients. Time stopped being an issue, money stopped being an issue, and it was all because I committed 100% to the right process. Are you ready to commit? You want to do the same? I know some of you on this call right now might feel like this, that you are starting from the bottom and with nothing, and I get it. I started from the bottom too. I had to stand out in an insanely crowded and competitive space full of people willing to charge literally a few dollars for their work. Heck yeah, Bright, ready to commit. I know you are. That's great. And if you, I didn't want to call this out because I feel kind of bad poo-pooing it, but I'm talking about job boards and bidding sites where you are clawing your way into gigs, competing against sometimes hundreds of other people who will charge next to nothing for their work. And that's your competition. So this is why I am so passionate and so serious about sharing the strategy and the tactics that have helped me excel in this webinar with you. When I say that the cold emailing formula changed my business and changed my life, I mean it. It was so liberating and so empowering because as opposed to taking whatever jobs I could get and just sitting there and crossing my fingers that I could land the next client, I put myself in the driver's seat and now I pick who I work with. Cold emailing took me from zero to finally charging clients what I wanted, what I deemed appropriate, because I was determining my own value. I was getting new clients that I loved working with left and right, and the more I worked with them, the more work they gave me. And it's because I provided good service, but it's also because part of cold emailing is zeroing in on the best clients for you. So once you find those clients, they don't leave. That's why we're talking about building long-term stability, okay? Are you ready to do the same? Give me a ready in the chat. Ready? Yeah, Johan. Awesome. Great. This is great. Hi. So glad to see so many familiar names and new names. Awesome. Okay, let's keep going. Remember, if you have any questions, jot them down and I'll answer everything at the end, okay? By having this formula that I'm going to give you at your fingertips, I want you to take a minute and imagine where you could be in 1 year, okay? Really imagine, what does your life look like? What does your income look like? Your day-to-day habits. How do you feel? Where are you? Now I want you to imagine having that in way less than 1 year. Because with what I'm going to give you, it's your fast pass to the front of the line, okay? We don't want to wait a year. We want results now. So when I tell you to pay attention to what I teach you and take notes, it's because you will walk away from this call with action that you can immediately take. All right? So very quickly, I'm pretty sure everyone on this call already knows what cold emailing is, but I'm going to give you a brief description just so I don't lose anyone. You've probably heard of cold calling. You've probably been cold called. When someone does cold calling, it means they are calling someone they have no relationship with, no familiarity with, and they ultimately try to sell their services. Cold emailing is the same, but unsurprisingly over email. And I want to be very, very clear about the distinction between cold emailing and spam. Can cold emailing be spammy? Yes, if you do it the wrong way, but we're not doing it that way. There is a huge difference. The way I'm going to teach you is high quality, qualified, targeted, okay? So any concerns you have about being spammy or coming across as like salesy, like the negative stereotype we have of salesy, you gotta get that out of your mind completely. All right, let's get into step 1, which is sourcing and qualifying your leads and learning how to identify your main sources of lead gen and determine if a lead is a good fit to cold email. By the way, if you see the green check mark on any of these slides, it means it's something really, really important and it's an actionable step that you can take and you should write it down, all right? What does it mean to qualify your leads? This is really important. You don't want to email everyone because everyone isn't your ideal client. I am giving you permission to be picky. You only want to email people who you have a reason to believe, 1, are open to your services, 2, are interested in your services, and 3, can afford your services. Those are the 3 requirements of the ideal qualified lead. This is called qualifying, okay? And this is where a lot of people go wrong because they skip this step entirely. Understandably, when people are cold emailing, they think, you know, the more the merrier, the more people I email, the better. The problem is that the more you email, the more the quality suffers. And you can send 300 emails, but if they're not done the right way, it's not going to matter that you sent 300. It's not going to work. Having a reliable method for sourcing and then qualifying leads is the first step towards successful cold emailing. And I guarantee you, without qualifying your leads, every step that comes after this will not work. I'm laying out the entire formula, trying to illustrate it a little bit in case you're more of a visual learner. And I've broken it down into 3 main phases, the first of which is lead generation, which is where we're talking about sourcing and qualifying your leads. And again, I know it seems like extra work, which it is, but qualifying your leads is a small time investment to make for massive results. Don't skip this step. And I want you to look at it like a funnel. Okay, at the top of the funnel, you start with all of your leads. You know, you've got tons of names and contact info and email addresses, but you're going to start filtering through them. And as you're qualifying them, you're going to weed out the people that for one reason or another don't meet your requirements. They either can't afford you, or they're just not interested, or they don't need you. And at the end of the funnel, you are going to end up with a smaller pool of leads. But don't let that discourage you that it's a smaller number, because they're going to be very targeted. It is better to have 10 highly targeted leads than 50 random ones. Let's talk a little bit more about why we bother qualifying leads in the first place. Why not just send cold emails to everyone like this, right? Like I said, the more the merrier. First of all, every single email you send using the cold emailing formula is personalized. We're going to talk about this more later. So you focus on quality as much as quantity and send fewer emails, but with the right strategy. You do it the right way. This is why cold emailing is not merely a numbers game. Second, qualifying your leads over time is going to help you zero in on your ideal client. And that this means that as you follow the formula even more, you will more quickly be able to target the exact businesses you want to work with. You're going to close clients faster, and you're going to make more money faster, all while doing less work. I know it sounds like BS, but I'm telling you, this is the difference between working smart and working hard. Both are important, but working smart is ultimately what's going to get you to break past that obstacle, that wall, that, you know, get over the next hurdle and really scale your business. So again, as a reminder, here's where we left off. Here's where we left off in the formula. We've qualified our leads. The second step is when we start to send our cold emails. You're going to send the initial cold email for the first touch point, and then if necessary, follow up. I want to check in with you guys. Can you give me a yes in the chat box if you are still with me? Thank you, Tyler. Yes, okay, cool. Thanks so much, guys. Awesome. Hey, Taylor. Great. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are awesome. All right. Thanks, Elena. Let's keep going. So we're ready to start emailing. This is the part everyone's been waiting for. I mentioned earlier that you're going to personalize every single email. So let's talk about that. You are not going to mass email. You are not going to take one email, one generic email, and send it to 500 people. What you're going to do instead, write this down, is you are going to personalize every single email with 3 things: the recipient's first name, the business name, and a sentence or 2 about their specific brand. For example, because I'm a writer and I'm selling my blogging services, I will add a sentence or 2 about a blog that brand previously published that I really like, something that resonated with me. That tells them that you did your homework, you did your due diligence, and you are treating them as a unique case, because they are. Your leads will know if you copy pasted the same email to everyone. I promise. It is very obvious and it is not effective. I've done it. It does not work. So when it comes to drafting your email, what do you even say? A lot of people approach this the wrong way and they talk all about themselves. And it's understandable. We know that we've got competition and we know that we have to convince them that we're better and that they should take a chance on us. But here's the thing. You need to focus on the lead, not on yourself. This is all about them. Okay? Your cold email revolves around the lead. When they read your email, they're going to have one question in their minds. Why should I care? What's in it for them? So, jot this one down. Your email should answer that question by quickly and clearly stating the benefits that they'll enjoy if they work with you. Here's an example. Because I'm a writer, the benefits that I put in my cold email include things like improved keyword rankings in Google, better website traffic, more email signups, and more time spent on site by users. If you're a writer, feel free to borrow these as long as you know how to deliver, okay? These bullet points, these benefits are front and center in my cold email because I'm trying to get them to notice immediately that I'm worth talking to because I can make their world better. All right? I want to pause for a minute and point out something. Do you notice how the email itself is just one part of the formula? This is where, a lot of people who try cold emailing and a lot of people who teach cold emailing, this is where it goes wrong. What comes before the cold email and what comes after the cold email are just as important for getting this to work. So I want you to remember that. It's not about blasting out hundreds of emails and then that's it, okay? Here's where we're at in the formula. We are in the communication stage, which is stage 2, and we've just sent our cold email. So we're done, right? You sent your cold email, now you can just sit back and kick your feet up and wait for the clients to come running at you, right? Not quite. What if the lead doesn't respond? Which is very likely to happen. If you don't hear back in 2 days, you're going to follow up. It might take a few attempts to get their attention, and that's okay. My initial cold emails get ignored all the time. And it might be as simple as they forgot about you. They got busy, distracted. Your email got buried. It happens, it's okay. If you're going to cold email, assume that you're going to have to follow up. No big deal. You can make your follow-up email very casual, very chill, and just give them a little nudge, a little push to remind them that you are waiting for a response. So as an example, you can say something like, hey Mary, hey John, just following up on my email from a few days ago. I'd still love to talk to you about your blog or your website or whatever your service is. And then you end with a call to action saying like, let's get on a call, let's talk more. And that's it. Every 2 days, okay? If 2 more days go by with still no answer, follow up one last time, and then that's it. Full transparency, I know people have opinions on how many times you should follow up. I know someone who follows up 10 times. In my experience, if you send the first cold email, the first follow-up, the second follow-up, and they're not responsive, it's done. You don't want clients that you have to beg. So take that to mean that they're not your ideal client. It's okay, and move on. Don't look at it as a failure. Just tuck it away and move on to the next lead. Here's where we're at in the formula. So we've sourced, qualified our leads, we've cold emailed, and we've followed up. What comes next? This is the fun part because it means money is right around the corner. We're gonna close the deal. All right, so this is when you're gonna get on the phone and land the client. And we're gonna talk about phone calls and mindset because I know there are people on this call who hate getting on the phone. Give me a heck yes in the chat if you hate getting on the phone. Personally, I don't love it. Phones suck. Yes. Nice. Okay. Yep. Mitali, you mentioned you had done cold calling. It can be brutal. Not my favorite thing, totally. Hates it. Yep. Okay, we're gonna flip this around because you guys gotta get on the phone, but I feel you. Hang with me, okay? Bear with me. So here's where we're at. We're almost done. Right? You love getting on the phone. Okay, more power to you, my friend. You should have a webinar next. All right, let's talk about the phone call more. So, as I said, I know a lot of people hate getting on the phone, especially if you're new to sales. It can be nerve-wracking. You get like the nervous sweats and the shakes and your voice is shaking and there's no way to hide it. You might feel anxious and unsure of yourself. You might be battling imposter syndrome. If you're not familiar with the phrase, it's essentially saying, you don't think you deserve to be here. Who are you to charge for your services? You don't know enough. Like, you're not good enough. That's what imposter syndrome is. Here's the thing though, I promise you, you will find it far easier to close a client on the phone than you will by email. And it's because if you think about it, emails are very easy to fabricate. And I don't even mean intentionally, like I'm not saying you're intentionally getting on email and lying, but you can craft an email and spend an hour on it because you're trying to give the recipient, you know, a certain impression. But when you get on the call, for you and them, it's more authentic, it's more genuine. You have to think on your feet, and it's a really, really good opportunity for that reason to form a more real and organic bond. People who are considering spending money on you want to hear your voice. Sometimes they want to see you. And it's because they want to know that they can trust you. And also, P.S., the phone call is a chance for you to further qualify your client. You might get on the phone and realize you hate them, okay? So this is an opportunity for you too. So here's what you're going to do. Even if you hate calls, don't have experience, we're gonna talk about this more. Write this one down. You are going to prepare a list of about 5 questions ahead of time, and you're going to get on the phone and let them do all the talking, okay? 5 questions, which you will ask, let them answer, and don't say anything else. Don't do this on the fly. Don't make it up as you go. Have the questions written down in front of your face. Think of things like, what's their main pain point? What approaches have they tried in the past to fix this? What were the results? You are gathering information for a few reasons. First of all, you need to determine if and how you can help them. And second of all, this is going to help you determine your rates, which we'll talk about more in a minute. Only after they've answered these questions and you have gathered all this information, only then do you start talking about what you can offer and how you can help them solve their problem. Remember what I told you, this is all about them. So make clear what they get out of this relationship. What do they get? Why should they care? The goal is to help, not to sell. And I really want you to think about this because this will help you get more comfortable on the phone. A lot of us say, I hate selling, I hate trying to convince people. Don't look at it as convincing. Look at it as helping. You have to bear in mind, your leads don't care about you making money. They don't care about you closing the deal. They care about getting what they need, okay? So if you prioritize their needs as a natural byproduct, the money follows. Help, not sell. And I don't want to discourage you from having money goals. Don't let anyone tell you that wanting more money is wrong or greedy or evil. You can say out loud right now, I want you to say, I love money. I want to make more money. That's great. But when it comes to landing deals, don't let that be your main motivator because the client doesn't care about your money. If you want the money to come, then you have to be driven to get them results and to help them as much as possible. Your goal, your driving factor needs to be selfless. Because if you deliver results and if you make the client happy, they're gonna be throwing their money at you. Money won't even be an issue. Prioritize their needs and the money will follow, I promise you. The call will most likely end with, or wind down with the lead asking for your rates. which is, I don't know about you, but that's the part that I still dread this part. Here's what you're not going to do. You are not going to give your rates over the phone. And here's why. When a lead puts you on the spot like that, you are going to panic and you are going to blurt out the first number that comes to mind. And you're going to be so eager to close the client that you're going to give them a number way lower than you normally would. And then you're going to hang up the call and you're going to start kicking yourself because you're going to realize you just agreed to working for way less than you wanted. Give me a yes in the chat box if you've done it. I've done it. I've done it a million times and I kick myself every time. What you're going to say instead, you can write this down, copy it word for word. You tell the client, the lead on the phone, okay, well, now that I know more about what you need, I'm going to go crunch some numbers and I'll get back to you with a complete proposal by the end of the day or end of tomorrow if you need the time. And you are going to go off on your own, quietly by yourself in private, and figure out an appropriate rate for that client. Because I can almost guarantee you, you're going to be coming up with rates on a client by client basis. At most, if they're really pushing you, which is understandable, maybe they need at least a vague idea of whether or not you're in their budget. At most, you can tell them what your rates start at. You can say my rates start at 500 or 1,000 or 1,500 a month, and then they go up based on a few different factors. Silence. Don't say anything else. And if they make any comments about, oh, wow, it's really expensive or anything like that, feel free to agree with them. I've agreed with leads before. They're like, oh, it's a lot. I'm like, yeah, it is. But then you remind them, I will break all of this down in my proposal and explain what exactly you get when you work with me, and I'll send you the final rate today, tomorrow. Do not give rates over the phone, I beg you. Let's talk about, even if you're not brand new, let's say you are newer to the game and you have no quote unquote proof that you can deliver, and you're going to get on the phone and sell your services to someone. How? Let me tell you a few things you're not going to do. You're not going to tell them that you just started. You're not going to tell them that you've never been paid. You're not going to tell them that they be your first client or that you're trying to build your portfolio. And you will have samples of your work ready, because if you didn't already have them, you're going to go and make your own. You do not need to wait for your first paying job to have samples of your work. Here's an example. If you're a writer, you are going to go on your own blog, your own website. You are going to publish 3 blogs in your niche. And anytime someone asks for samples of your work, you send them those links. You can do the same thing, same concept. If you're a graphic designer, a social media manager, a web designer, if you're still working on your website, you hop to it and finish that up. But in the meantime, if you want to put it in a Google Drive document, you can do that. I've had writers do that with me. I don't give a flying fart in space. I just want to see if they can write. So make up your own samples and move on with your life. Pull the trigger. It's okay. I want to be clear, none of this is about tricking your leads. I'm not telling you to lie about your experience. I'm not telling you to mislead them. I am probably too transparent with my clients, but I never encourage lying. But what we're not going to do is go out of our way to give them reasons not to feel confident in us. Start with what you have, not with what you're missing. Okay? A few more rules for success with your call. You need to take yourself seriously so that they take you seriously. Because if you don't believe in yourself, why should anybody else? Act like a business owner because you are. This is a mindset thing that I know at least some of you are dealing with. We're used to being employees. We're used to having a boss. But if you are a freelancer, a consultant, you have an agency, whatever, you are a business owner, okay? So you're not applying for a job. If they ask you for an application or a resume, no, you're not trying to get a job. You are one professional, and this is the client, and you are on the same level. You are a business owner, not an employee. Spend more time listening There's a reason we've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. When you speak, it should reflect what they've told you. Remember what I said. It's like the client's the universe and you revolve around them, okay? That's what cold emailing is. You need to help the lead understand why they need you. They might not know. They really might not understand why you are the solution to their problems that they needed all along. So explain it to them. Don't assume they know. They might not know anything. And lastly, as a gentle reminder, don't go out of your way to point out your shortcomings, okay? So here's the formula. We're not done yet, so stick with me. Here's the formula in our little timeline from start to finish. You sourced your leads, qualified, you sent your first cold emails, you followed up, you got the client on the phone, and then you moved to closing the deal. One of the biggest myths, I want to revisit this, about cold emailing is that it is purely a numbers game. People say that you need to send hundreds of emails just to close a single client. This is false. I can very confidently tell you that this mentality is wrong and it will not pay off. Out of every approximately 11 cold emails I send, I close a deal. I told you this in the beginning, I'm going to say it again. I'm sending fewer emails than I ever have, and I'm also not spending money, to be clear, on getting leads through Facebook ads or Google ads or any other paid means. I handpick my leads, who I want to work with, and my conversion rate went to the highest it's ever been. How? I have followed the process that I'm teaching you now. It is not magic, it's not luck, it's not a fluke. It's just the right process. When it comes to landing new clients and closing and growing your business, you have two options. You can either sink to the bottom of the sea, lost among your competitors, fighting for any gig you can find on the job boards and bidding sites that are paying pennies. Or you can rise to the top of the mountain. I don't care how corny it sounds, it's true. You can take control of your business, your clientele, your income. You can do work you actually enjoy and get paid for it. I think we were all brought up to think that that's too good to be true and we can't have it all, but you absolutely can. But you have to believe it up here first. Give me a heck yes in the group chat if you're still with me. And give me some energy. Heck yes, thank you. Yes, Queen, Tyler. Awesome. You guys rock. I love connecting with you here. Heck yes. Thank you. Thank you, Miriam. Yep. Awesome. Awesome. I love you guys. All right. So if you're still a nervous newbie, or even if you're not new, but you get a little uneasy about all this, thank you, Ryan. I want you to keep something in mind, okay? This is me giving you a little kick in the tush. We all start with nothing. I started with nothing except my unemployment checks. It's true. We're all beginners at first. We are all inexperienced at first. We feel clueless. We feel unsure of ourselves. We're not making money, and therefore we think, why do I deserve to make money? This was me, and it might be some of you, and I still built a business that makes me 5 figures a month in revenue. It's not because I'm a special snowflake, I promise you. I did it, you can do it. You are capable of anything. Say it out loud to yourself right now. I don't care how weird you feel. Say, I am capable. You can do whatever you want. You need to start with what you have. Forget, I'm capable. Yeah, that's great. Love it. Start with what you have. Don't worry about waiting for things to be perfect or waiting until you have something else. You have everything you need right now. So now is the time to take action. I want to tell you something else, and let me finish my explanation before you get offended. You're special, and you're not special. You're special because, at the risk of sounding corny, there is only one of you. There's no one exactly like you, which means there's no one offering a service exactly like yours. This should be empowering. You are 100% unique. You are an original. There are no copies. You're also not special, which is a good thing, because there are lots of professionals just like you benefiting from cold emailing, and what I teach is part of the cold emailing formula right now. It's not magic, it's not a trend, it's not luck, it is having the right formula. Some of the people that I've already worked with have seen fast improvements in their open rates and their conversion rates. It's, smart, intelligent people that had the service, they knew what they were doing, but they just couldn't figure out how to land clients because it's really hard. There's a lot of moving parts, and if you don't know how to put it all together, it's very discouraging because it won't work. But it can work. It is not theory. Like I said, it's not a flash in the pan where I did it once and that was it. It's a proven process that I've tested and repeated countless times with success. Until now, a lot of what I've showed you, I've only shared it one-on-one with people. I've tested this entire system and I've proven its results with my own business and the businesses of others. But I'm here because I'm tapped out, okay? At this point, I know that the next step for me is to make a greater impact by sharing it with more than one person at a time. So that is why I am phasing one-to-one work out of my business. I want to work with groups. This method is time-tested and it's proven. And to this day, I'm using these methods and systems in my own business. And in fact, I've used some of these strategies for this webinar you're on right now. So that should tell you that it works because you're here. All right? If you're thinking, great, I'm ready, where do I start? All you have to do is commit and focus and take action. And I know you're ready because you've already started doing this by attending this webinar today. That means you're ready for the next step. If you had it all figured out and things were peachy keen, you wouldn't be here right now. So I just gave you my cold emailing strategy, kind of like a bird's eye view, I guess. And as I'm sure you can imagine, this is the tip of the iceberg when it comes to growing your income, impact, and business. There is more. So you have two options. You can do it yourself. You might end up looking like this young lady right here. Maybe it'll work, maybe not. If you get there, it's going to take you a long time. Once you have the process, landing clients is fast. I will land a new client within a week. But when you don't know kind of like how to piece all the bits together, it's really hard. Or you can use a proven system, a proven path to success for consistently landing clients so that you can finally grow your income. And also, I said, this is a long-term play. We're looking for stability. Cold emailing doesn't matter if you make $5,000 one month and $1,000 the next. That's what we're resolving here. You want a long-term plan. If you decide to work with me, nothing is held back. There are no gaps, no missing steps, no secrets. All you have to do is what I tell you to do. You follow my lead step by step, and the results that I'm able to get on a regular basis, you will start experiencing yourself. I'm here because I'm on a mission to accelerate your growth. Your growth is my mission. I want to remove all the headaches and the bad advice that I was given from other courses and programs and gurus, and I want to hand over to you the exact process to follow to truly build a business on your terms. I stripped out the gunk and anything you don't need to know, and we're going to cut right to the chase so that you can start landing clients fast. And that's what the cold emailing formula is. I've taken my entire process from start to finish. We're talking building the entire foundation, getting in the right mindset, which is so important. Sourcing leads. You will never run out of leads. Qualifying your leads, the exact templates I use, which I'm going to give you with the cold emailing formula. Mastering the phone call and getting over the dread of the phone call. Testing and measuring your process to make adjustments and setting you up for long-term success. And it is all part of this program. Why? Because I've noticed with the online space, there are a lot of courses out there where you can learn cold emailing, and there are people teaching it, and I've done it. Okay. The problem is that they're only teaching you an aspect of the entire puzzle of growing your clientele. And this is what I've learned over the years. A course on cold emailing is pointless if it doesn't also teach you how to secure and qualify your leads. I just want to scream this because it's so important. You have to source and qualify your leads. A course on cold emailing is pointless if it doesn't teach you what comes after the cold email, which is just as important if you want to land the client. A course on cold emailing is pointless if it assumes that cold emailing is a numbers game, which you now know is half true, half false. I want you to have the best possible launch pad for a successful business because I've already been through it. I've made the mistakes, I've screwed up, I've fallen on my face, I've blown the emails, the phone calls, you name it. I am coming at this with years of experience, experimenting, trial and error, and finding the things that actually work long-term versus temporary band-aids. We don't want a quick overnight fix that ends in a week. We want a long-term business that will set us up for life. That's why I'm here. If that's why you're here, say heck yes in the chat. You guys still pumped? You still with me? Heck yes. Thank you. Awesome. Yes. Awesome. Let's keep going then. I want to remind you again, because this is always my fear when I'm sitting on webinars, still here. Hey, Miriam. Hey, Mitali. Damn straight. That's right. I really want to, again, drill this into your heads. This is not an accident. The success I've seen is not an accident. It's not a fluke. It's not, magic or luck. I've seen people who have built programs and courses on like how to go viral on YouTube, and it's because they got lucky and they had one video go viral, but they never replicated the process. I'm giving you something that you can copy and do over and over and over again so that you can go out and land clients. I can't say on demand because it's not literally on demand, but you're in control of how many clients you work with, what you charge them. That's what we're doing here. So if you're still with me, that tells me that you're interested. If you want in, here's how the process works. Just like I've told you to qualify your leads, I do the same thing. I don't want to work with everybody. I hope that doesn't sound harsh, but it's because everybody isn't my ideal student. I need to get you results. Otherwise, it's pointless. So the better the fit, the better the results. Like what I want to teach you, I'm also building a legacy business. So that's why I don't want just any student. I want the right students. So I'm going to give you a few requirements, and I want you to really, really read these and ask, is this me? The cold emailing formula is for client-based businesses or people in the process of building a client-based business. So whether you call yourself a freelancer, a coach, a consultant, an expert, a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, a digital nomad, and also across a number of fields, whether it's writing, social media, graphic design, health, nutrition, fitness, life coaches. If you work with clients, then this is going to be for you. Okay, that's the first thing I want you to think about. Second, this cold emailing formula is for people who are truly good at what they do, care about what they do, they're eager to constantly be improving, and they're determined to deliver real results in their marketplace. I'm not going to tell you things just to convince you to enroll. Cold emailing will not be a band-aid for low quality service. I can teach you how to get clients, but it's going to be your job to keep them, okay? So cold emailing isn't a band-aid. And I want to give a shout out to Bright, who's on this call. I hope it's okay I'm calling you out. He and I spoke on the phone, was it like a couple weeks ago? And it was so clear in our conversation and his voice. He's so driven and dedicated and just eager to improve and blow his clients away. He's the exact kind of person I want to be working with, and we are going to work together. Okay, so I want you to just be so fired up about this and excited and so determined to be the best at what you do. And if you combine that with what I'm going to teach you, your world is going to explode, but in a good way. All right. The cold emailing formula is for people who understand that investing in your growth and having skin in the game is the only way to truly grow and not stay stuck in the hamster wheel. Lastly, it's for people who are action takers and are actually going to implement the formula. If you are all talk and no action, this is not going to work for you, okay? I mean it when I say I'm not interested in wasting your time or your energy. So look at these 5 points and ask yourself, like really deeply, truly, is this me? And if it does sound like you, then please consider this your official invitation to join me for my private program. And I call it private. I'm only gonna let so many people in. The reason for that is because this is going to be a pretty big time commitment on my end. It's going to be a lot of one-on-one, like personal attention. So I need to make sure the group is small enough that I can give you the attention you're going to need, okay? Unsurprisingly, the program's called the Cold Emailing Formula. It's a proven process for landing high-paying clients. Let's talk about it a little bit. It is a 6-week live course delivered via Zoom, which is on what you're on right now. It will be recorded, and it starts July 10th. Week 1, I'm going to give you an idea of the curriculum so you can, start to figure out if this is, what you're looking for. We're going to build a foundation, which is where this has to start. We're going to talk about mastering your mindset, overcoming imposter syndrome, picking your niche. This is going to help you stand out from your competition and almost eliminate your competition. Creating your ideal client avatar and optimizing your LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn is going to be vital to this process, so we're going to clean that up in the first week. Week 2, how to source your leads. You're going to learn my 6 proven methods for sourcing, like I said, endless leads. You're going to learn exactly how to qualify your leads. And I'm going to teach you how to track down the best contact within a company so that you know exactly who to pitch your services to. Week 3 is going to be all about sending your cold emails. We're going to design your email signature, which I've learned over the years makes a huge difference. We're going to work together in sending the emails. I'm going to tell you how to follow up, when to follow up, what to say, how to say it, how to schedule the call. Week 4 is all about mastering the phone call. And I got, like, seriously guys, even if you hate calls, roll with me here because the phone is going to be your best friend for this, I promise you. We're going to work on your mindset and help you get over that phone anxiety that I know a lot of you, feel. We're going to develop your phone script because we never take phone calls like on the fly by the seat of our pants. And I'm going to teach you how to talk money, how to talk rates with confidence and precision. Even if you are brand new and have no clue what to say and feel like a complete loser, we're going to fix that. Week 5 is all about measuring, testing, and adjusting. If you've checked out any of my videos or blogs, I've said before that the only way to know if your process is as good as it can be is if you measure your results. So we're going to take things like your open rate, your CTA conversion rate, and your close rate. And we're going to look at all this data and go, okay, where are you winning? What needs help? How can we tweak this process to you individually as a student and add more like fuel to the fire, if that makes sense. And week 6, we're going to set you up for long-term success. I've said it already a couple times. This is not just about the 6 weeks we spend together in the program. I want to help you build a business. If you don't ever want to go back to your 9-to-5, I want to help you get there, okay? So we're going to talk about speeding up the formula so you can get results faster, and we will discuss automating and outsourcing. Enrolling gets you lifetime access to the course, which will evolve over time because our industries evolve over time. So any updates, any improvements I make, you will always have access to that. And you will also have lifetime access to the private Facebook community, which the communities I'm a part of, I have learned so much. Group environments like this are a beautiful opportunity to learn. So that's 2 more things you get when you're part of this program. You're also going to get a bunch of resources to guide you along the way, like checklists, templates, to-do lists, spreadsheets. You're going to have your own copies that you can make a copy of and use for yourself. In addition to our live weekly classes and the replays you'll get, We will have weekly live office hours where I will get on Zoom and you guys can either submit questions ahead of time or ask them on the spot. And I will go through all of your questions and help you along the way. You will have direct email access to me, and I will walk you through everything step by step, showing you the way and keeping you accountable. I know what a lot of people need is that like accountability coach, and I'm going to make you follow through with this. We are going to be checking in with each other at least once a week, if not more. And I'm going to ask you, did you do your homework? What were the results? What did you accomplish? And I will not let you fail. That is my commitment to you. The goal is to land you your next client before the course even ends. That is my goal and my commitment, okay? So this is why earlier I asked you guys, really ask yourselves if this is something that you're ready to do, because I'm all in and I want people who are on the same page. All right, let's get to the uncomfortable part. If you were to hire me to teach you this process, which you couldn't because I don't do one-on-one work anymore, my hourly rate was $200, okay? You will not let us fail. That's what we like to hear. Damn right, Bright. I will not let you fail. You'd also be purchasing separately things like cold email templates, the phone templates, the lead sources where you will go to generate leads, other additional resources like the templates, checklists, and spreadsheets, which I have spent months, if not years, designing to make them efficient. There will be weekly or more than weekly check-ins and accountability. And also, I want you to consider the fact that the cold emailing formula makes you money. That's what an investment is. This is going to make you money for the rest of your life if you want, okay? And for all of that, my regular price is $1,200. But as you hopefully guessed, I'm going to come up with a slightly different offer, a very different offer, for people who have stuck with me on this webinar. And yes, I can see who's still here, so thank you. For webinar attendees only, I am dropping the price to $700, which is available until Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific. It's PST, okay? For webinar attendees only, USD, I assume, correct. That's 700 USD, so I'm dropping 500 off the normal price. And I really want to emphasize, I am very, very serious about working with people who are like, F yes, let's do it, okay? So that is why I am offering another fast action bonus for people who enroll within the next hour, 600, okay? So it is 2 o'clock right now until 3 o'clock. It is available for 600. That is cutting the price in half. I am going to drop 2 pieces of information in the chat box, okay? The first is the enrollment page on my website. You'll go there, it's a very simple page. There's one button that says enroll now. Mitali, I see your message and I'm gonna get back to you, okay? And then also, I know like, I almost feel awkward bringing this up, but I also wanna offer it. In speaking with a lot of you, over the last few days and weeks, I know that we're going through a really kind of funky time right now. Things are weird for everyone, and I know some of us are not in the position financially that we normally are. So a lot of people have asked if I can offer payment plans, and I can. Okay, I am more than happy to split this into 2 monthly payments. The total will still be the same and will not go up. So if you want a monthly payment plan and you email me, which I'm putting my email address in the chat right now, you probably already have it, but just in case. If you email me within the next hour saying, yes, let's enroll, but I need a payment plan, it will be 2 monthly payments of $300, or by Friday, 2 monthly payments of $350 for $700, okay? After Friday, the price goes up to $1,200. All right, everyone still with me? So payment plans are available. The link is in the chat box to the enrollment page on my website, megangrant.net. just click the enroll button. And if you want a payment plan instead, that's totally fine. Send me an email at hello@megangrant.net and I will send you a different link to enroll with, okay? Again, spots are limited. This is the only time I'm planning to do this course live. After that, it will be recorded and self-paced. So anyone can enroll at any time, and that's when the price will be back up to $1,200. I want to leave you with this, and something else I debated sharing. I wasn't sure if it was like appropriate. I would not be where I am today without investing in working with the people who were where I wanted to be. And a couple weeks ago, it was longer than that, I enrolled in a program for $4,600. And if you and I have ever spoken, you know that I am a frugal person and I'm a frugal business owner. I have to be pretty damn confident that I'm going to get a return on my money for me to spend any money. And it paid off. Okay? It was scary because that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to me. But it was an investment I made in myself because I was stuck. And I needed to learn from someone who knew better. That's what I did, and it worked. And that is my commitment to you. That's why I am committed to landing you your first client before you even finish the course. I want to prove to you that this was an investment. I want you to pay for the course while you're still in it, and then go for as long as you want and make as much money as you want. Long term, for life, for the lifespan of your business with what I'm going to teach you. Okay? So again, the enrollment link is in the chat box. If you just joined, hi. We're about wrapping up here, but I'll send you the replay. I think we spoke. The link is in the chat box. If you want a payment plan, email me at hello@megangrant.net. And again, visualize again where you see yourself in 1 year. And now imagine cutting that time way down. I want to get you there a lot faster. And in this program, you will have action to take. You will have homework starting week 1. We're not wasting any time. The goal is to get you results as fast as possible. So that's what it is designed to do. $600 or 2 payments of $300 if you email me. That ends at 3 o'clock. Questions? I am here. Sure, no problem, Mitali, I see. Mitali, you and I can schedule a time to talk more if that works for you. I will catch up with you by email. Yeah, I will email you after the call. Sweet. Questions? You can ask anything. Do you use a CRM, and if so, which do you recommend? Okay, so for cold emailing, the only tool I use is HubSpot to keep track of my leads. It's free, by the way. You don't have to pay for it. And I do that because I put in there everyone I contact, their email addresses. I leave a note of when I last contacted them, so I know when to follow up. But this is part of the formula that always surprises a lot of people. It's not automated. So I'm not sending emails through a CRM. I have templates that I use. I'm certainly not writing every email from scratch, but I have templates that I alternate between and tweak so that I can personalize them. And that is what I use, but I'm sending emails manually. And, you know, again, to reiterate, I did try automating and outsourcing this, and no joke, in terms of the end user's experience, the lead's experience, not all that much looked different. And the people that I hired to do all this for me, to automate it and outsource it, they were following my steps basically to a T, and it still didn't work. I can't remember if it was 250 or 300 emails trying to automate this. I did not close one client. So I don't know about you, but I'd rather send 11 emails manually and pretty much know I'm going to close a client than send 250 and just sit back and wait. If you're looking for a recommendation for a CRM outside of that, I would say check out HubSpot first. They offer quite a bit for free. You don't have to have a CRM. You don't have to pay for it to start if you're kind of on a budget. I hope that helps, Tyler. Do you set daily and weekly goals or have a certain number of leads you send out per day or per week? You are very welcome, by the way. So the goals I suggest you set are ones you can control. So what you said about having goals for a number of leads is a great example. As I said, having a goal for how much money you're going to make or how many clients you're going to close, that's great because it keeps you motivated, but you ultimately can't control them. You can't force yourself to close 5 new clients. What you can force is how many leads you collect and how many emails you send. So I would set daily goals of track down 10 leads, send 10 cold emails, variables you can control. And like I said, if you follow the steps and do the work, it works. The clients will come. And also, the number of leads and cold emails is something you can really measure. And we want to be able to measure our process. Otherwise, we don't know if it works. Okay? I'm still here. I will hang out and answer questions. I'm looking over here because my chat box is here. How did you personally learn all of this? Great question, Kathy. So a lot of it was research and thanks, Nick. I'm so glad you made it here. It was research and digging and studying and just like digging my way through Google and YouTube for the last several years. When I first started cold emailing, I didn't actually know it was what I was doing was cold emailing. I just looked at it as like, oh, there's this brand I really want to work with and they seem really cool, so I'm going to email them. And then I realized that this was actually a thing. So yeah, tons of studying and trial and error and messing up a lot. So it took me a long time to really zero in on this process. I can say now that it was worth it. When you're in the middle of it, you just want to pull your hair out. But I knew I was very confident in my service. I was a confident writer. But you know, like I said to you guys earlier, you are business owners. And as a business owner, you have to wear a lot of hats. One is sales, whether you like it or not. I always said I hated sales, but I don't even look at it like that anymore because now, as I've told you, I look at it as, here's this company, they've got a problem, I think I can help them. So that's, you know, the best answer I can give you, Kathy. Lots of trial and error, lots of studying, you know, attending webinars and taking courses and reading, you know, sales books. And I don't think I've read any books on cold emailing specifically, but lots of sales books. I'm a student at heart, so it was a lot of work and screwing things up. How long did it take you to get to 5 figures a month? Okay, so that's tricky to answer. I'll explain why. My business officially became a business on paper in 2017. I would say, because I jumped from about 5K to past 10K into 5 figures, that jump was really quick because the biggest change for me was learning how to qualify my leads and how to talk to people. So I would say to make that last big jump, 6 months-ish. But also bearing in mind, I'm not trying to make it sound like, oh, it's so easy. It wasn't easy. A lot of the work I did built up to that. But that was, you know, my goal in designing this program. I wanted to take all of it and condense it so that you guys don't have to spend months and years. You know, I was talking to, thanks, Kathy. I was talking to, I think it was Bright on the phone, and any self-imposed limitations you guys have about how much money you can make, get rid of them. You can make as much as you want. Like, I'm not just saying that, you can. And once I did that with myself and had more confidence in myself, and once I refined this process, and I've been doing this for years now, and I still follow the same steps every single time. Once you've got that, there really and truly is nothing stopping you. So a lot of it also, who has Mitali, it depends on the time you have available and, you know, how like really ready you are to commit. You know, if you're a hard worker, which I know you are, and you're determined, you could get to 5 to 10 figures. Yeah, I want to say within like a few months. Not saying it's easy, but it is very doable when you have the right process. Okay. Are these slides going to be available? I should be able to do that. Yeah. How would I generate leads if I never have access to the end client? Sometimes I work through agencies and production companies and don't always have the opportunity to interact with clients directly. Okay, so unless I'm misunderstanding your question, Tyler, and just let me know if I am, agencies are, those are a gold mine. They're kind of like the gatekeeper. Can you, before I answer this the wrong way, can you specify what you mean? Do you mean like clients of the agency and the agency brings you the work from the client and you submit your work to the agency? Is that what you're saying? Yes, okay. So I wouldn't say this is a bad thing. On the contrary, I think it's awesome that you don't have to deal with clients. Agencies, I have clients who are agencies and they bring me their clients, but it's through the agency. So I actually view that as a good thing. I have specifically targeted agencies because it's basically sending one cold email to land a client with however many clients they have. So unless there's, you know, for some reason you don't like that, oh, through auditions. Oh, that's right. Aren't you like a voice actor? Isn't that what I saw on your LinkedIn? Yes, that's awesome. That's so awesome. Oh man, I used to act as well, so you're in good company. For that then, yeah, I mean, it's still kind of the same concept. You're gonna have double dipping, but like, you know, you're using someone who has access to a huge network. In terms of getting through to the client yourself, I would find people who are already utilizing the service that you offer and cold email them directly. Reach out to them. Be like, hey, I noticed that, you know, you have a voiceover blah blah in your language, which you and I would have to work on because I don't personally know it. I don't know voice acting. But yeah, you don't hesitate to connect with people directly. The worst they can do is ignore you or say no. Okay, am I helping with this at all? Tyler, follow up and let me know if I'm like hitting on what you're asking. I'm gonna go to the next question and I will come back to you, Tyler. Might be somewhat unrelated, but if after a video call with a prospect, and you agree to work together, and they get back saying that after discussing with their boss, they decided not to go through with your services, yet they give no reason for pulling out on you, what's best? Do you reach out again? Do you ask why? I mean, their boss actually referred them to you, so what could have gone wrong? What's best to do? Do not hesitate to follow up and ask more questions, because in my opinion, after they made a point of kind of yanking you around a little bit, it is not unreasonable at all for you to, you know, keep it chill, keep it professional, and you can respond and say something like, you know, I'm so sorry to hear that. Can I ask why? And then say something like, you know, I'd love to know because maybe we can work through it, or maybe I can offer a better solution if you still want to try to salvage it. But you don't have to give up, and it's okay to ask gently, you know, respectfully, which I know you would, right? I would reach out again and I would ask why. Who knows, it might be something you can resolve and then you land the client. Following up from Tyler's question, some people will do anything to not speak to freelancers and will put many gatekeepers in place. How do you get past those gatekeepers? That is something you learn in the program. And here's a perfect example of what you're talking about, Mitali. Something that a lot of people get wrong with cold emailing is that they will go on the brand's website, the company's website, and they will just look for any email address that they can find. And very often, the only email address that websites will offer are very generic ones, like info at, exactly, beat me to the punch, Tyler, info at, hello at, support at. I used to email only those, and cold emailing didn't work. I was like, what the hell? They're doing that on purpose. So no, they don't want everyone to know the emails of their employees. But when you email those addresses, one of two things will happen. Either nothing, they'll ignore you, or this is, I love this one, some random customer support person. Listen, when you email hello@Megan Grant, you get me. Funny. What I get a lot when when I used to email the info at email addresses, some random person who didn't even identify themselves, they'd be like, great, we've forwarded your information to the correct department and they'll reach out if they're interested. You're never going to hear from them. So in the program, you're going to learn exactly how to track down a human being, not just a company, a human being with a personal email address and a personal inbox, because that is that's who you're going to sell to. So for instance, with me, because I'm selling blogging, I look for director of content, editor, someone who I know works in that department. The next best thing for a writer is someone within the marketing department. So if you can't find someone who you know works on the blog, you look for like a social media person or an email marketing person, because usually those people all work together in some capacity. So that's a really good question. It's really important. Cold emailing, generic email addresses, not very fruitful. Following up on my question, to reach out to the boss or the employee who you made the video call with, which is better? The one you're communicating with. There's a reason you spoke to them and not the boss. The boss is probably too busy and they're delegating this work anyway. Worst case scenario, if that employee is just going to blow you off and ignore you, then you have nothing to lose, email the boss. But I would start with who your initial point of contact was. How do you decide on a rate if you are a complete or relative beginner? Great question. This is how I price the program, and this is how I encourage you to price your services. They are value-based. Okay, so Johan, in your case, we talked about this. You've got a background in like tech, IT, tech, I think. So you're going to start with that niche, right? You know more about this field than other writers. So it doesn't matter that you're new. It doesn't matter that you don't have much or any paid experience, because you provide value and knowledge and expertise that a writer who is not specializing in tech can't know. So that's why I encourage you guys not to go out of your way to say, oh, I'm a new writer. It's okay that you're a new writer. What you should point out to them instead is that I have a background in tech. So this is why I encourage writers, don't charge purely based on word count. Don't charge purely based on hours. Don't give your clients hourly rates or rates per word. Your pricing is value-based. So because you're not going to give your rates over the phone, when you go off on your own to figure out rates for a lead that you spoke with, you're going to take into consideration three things: the amount of time the work will take you, the length of the project, like if you're a writer, how many words it is. You don't tell the client this. This is for you. Keep it inside. And the value that you can bring. It doesn't matter if a task takes you 10 minutes to complete if you spent 10 years learning how to do it. Okay? Maybe I'm sure you've seen this quote online. They're paying for 10 years, not 10 minutes. Okay? All right. So I think things look like they're quieting down. I am going to wrap this up. It is 2:22 Pacific. So you have until 3 p.m. Pacific to get this fast action bonus. I will be at my computer if you need to email me for the payment plan. And remember, after 3, it will go up to 7. Okay? If you have any questions that you think of after this, like I said, I'll be at my computer and I will respond as quickly as I can. And thank you again for your time, especially those of you in different time zones. I'm going to share the link to the enrollment page on my website one more time. Oops. And then here is my email one more time. Thank you so much, Kathy. It was so fantastic to see So many people here and lots of familiar faces. And we will do this again. If you guys found this valuable, I'm here for you. Yes, Mitali, I'm still going to follow up with you right after by email. I know it's late for you. Thank you, Elena. All right, I'm going to end this call. Thank you, Dane. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are awesome. All right, I'm here for you. Go kick butt. And I'm going to end this call, and I will be talking to you guys very soon, all right? You stay healthy. Stay in touch. If I can get this window to close out. This is always the most awkward part.